has 3 different text-to-image AI generators. Text-to-Image from Canva, Dall-E from the creators of ChatGPT, and Imagen from Google. I tested 15 different topics and 21 different prompts to be able to rate them and compare them. But first, let me show you how to access these 3 different AI generators in Canva. Go to canva.com and on the left panel you will see this option that says Apps. Click here. You will see text-to-image here, but if you don't see it on your screen, you can type on this search bar text-to-image, and this is the app that you need to use, text-to-image. Click here, and as you know, this one will allow you to type what you would like to see, and this app will create it for you. From here, you can use this app in an existing design or use it in a new design. Let me go back because I want to show you how the Dall-E app looks like. So I'm going to search for Dall-E. This is the app that we are going to use today, and as you can see in here, it says AI image generator from the makers of ChatGPT. When you click on this app, this is what you will see: generate realistic images and art using AI, and you also have the 2 different options: use in existing design and use in a new design. Let me go back, and this time let's type Imagen. This is the app we are looking for, a photorealistic AI image generator from Google. When we click on this app, we can see again in here that this is an app created by Google and that you can turn your text into photorealistic AI images, and you have the same 2 options in here: use in existing design or use in new design. Another way to access these apps is from the editor. On the left menu, you will see this icon that says Apps. Click here, and then you can search for the app that you need in here. So let's type text-to-image, hit enter, and you have the app in here. When you click on the app icon, it will open in a new window and you will be able to use it from here. This is how text-to-image looks like. You'll be able to enter your text prompt in this box, and then this particular app has different styles that you can choose and different aspect ratio. I do recommend that you click on see all so you can preview all the different styles that you can use in text-to-image. Then you can go back, and from here you can select an aspect ratio if you wanted to. Now, there is something important here below the create your image button. You can see that it says use one of 50 credits, and this is because I'm using a Canva free account at the moment. Canva free users have 50 lifetime text-to-image uses or credits. Now, let me show you the text-to-image in a Canva Pro account. You will see a different message, and in here it says use one of 500 credits. It refreshes the 1st of October. And this is because Canva Pro, Canva for Teams, Canva for Nonprofits, and Canva for Education users have 500 text-to-image uses per month. Every time that you enter a prompt and click create your image and you have your generation created, 1 credit will be deducted. Also, when you are using text-to-image, 4 different images will be generated with just 1 credit. Now let me show you how Dall-E looks like. So let's go to apps and type Dall-E. You're gonna click on the icon and then the app will open in a new window. As you can see, Dall-E has less options. You only have the box where you are going to enter your text prompt and the generate button. That's all that you can do in here, and you also have the little message below the button that says use one of 25 credits. It also refreshes the 1st of October. This is because I'm using a Canva Pro account. So again, Canva Pro, Canva for Teams, Canva for Nonprofits, and Canva for Education users have 25 credits per month when it comes to Dall-E. Now, this is how Dall-E looks like on a Canva free account, and as you can see, the message is different. In this case, we only have 3 credits lifetime. Going back to apps, let me search for Imagen. Let's open the app. Imagen looks exactly the same as Dall-E. Let me show you Dall-E. Looks like this, and Imagen looks like this. We don't have any other option or setting in here. We can only add our text prompt and click generate. We also have only 3 credits lifetime when we are using a Canva free account, and this is the Canva Pro account that I have, and Imagen works exactly the same as Dall-E. At the moment we have 25 credits that refreshes every month, and it works for the same accounts that I already mentioned: Canva Pro, Canva for Teams, Canva for Nonprofits, and Canva for Education. Now, the only difference that I have to mention here is that every time that you submit a prompt with text-to-image, it will generate 4 images for you. When you submit a text prompt with Dall-E or Imagen, you will get only 2 images. The first topic that I tested are 3D models. What I did is to use the prompt that we see on top of the screen, exactly the same prompt. I used it on the 3 different AI generators, and these are the results that I got. I'm going to give a point to the platform that did the best job for each prompt. So we have 21 prompts in total in this video, and at the end we're gonna see which app has the most points, basically which app or which platform performed the best. I'm not only going to take beauty into consideration because beauty is very subjective, but I'm also going to take the keywords that I used in my prompt and see which of the apps applied the keywords in the images. In this particular case, I personally love the creation that we see in the middle, but if we see the keywords in the prompt, like for example 3D render, I do believe the one in the middle doesn't look like a 3D render, but the 2 other images actually look like 3D renders. The next keyword is poster, and Imagen actually applied the poster aspect ratio in this image. I'm not a fan of having this gray area in the image, but I mean, it took the poster aspect ratio into consideration. And also, if we pay attention to the prompt, it says pignon in a garden surrounded by flowers. So surrounded by flowers, I see the Imagen picture and the Dall-E one. But because this one is taking more keywords into consideration in this image, I'm going to give the point to Imagen. The next prompt is a 3D model of a thoughtful frog sitting on a rock next to a river of a mystical forest at night. Full moon is visible in the dark sky. If we pay attention to the keywords, we see full moon visible in the dark sky, so we see the moon in here. We can barely see a moon here, but I think it's visible. And in this image, we see 2 moons, so that is kind of off. Another keyword that I find very important in this prompt is a mystical forest. I believe the most mystical forest I see is the one in the middle, but I mean, like the other 2 generators tried to have a mystical aspect with a little misty fog in here. And the last keyword that I find very important is the 3D model. I like the 3D frog that we see on the left, but if we take a look at the hands and the feet, these don't look the best. I would go for the first option in here, and the second one, if I go closer, it doesn't, I mean, it looks kind of like a frog, but to be honest, it doesn't look very defined, so at this point I will give it to text-to-image because, I mean, the forest is not very mystical, but is the best 3D model that I see in here. Next prompt is a cute robot walking in a magical jungle full of fireflies and flowers. Soft lighting 3D render. On the first image, we don't see a jungle and I don't quite see the fireflies. We see something in here, but they don't look like fireflies. On the second image, we see butterflies, but not fireflies. We see the jungle and the flowers. The robot looks cute. And on the third image, we actually see a cute robot. I don't quite see the jungle, but we see a lot of flowers and we see something that looks like fireflies. So I have to give the point to Imagen. Next topic is people. And I wanted to see if these platforms were able to create a sadhu. A sadhu is considered a holy man that looks like this. So yes, I'm very curious to see what these AI generators could come up with. This is a prompt that I used to be able to generate a sadhu looking at the camera. I have this keyword which I find very important, which is portrait. Indeed, we have 3 strong portraits in here. I do believe the first one and the third one are the ones that look more realistic if I were to look at the photos really quick. And I do believe it is because the second one is lacking definition in the eye area. Something important here is that the first one doesn't quite look like a sadhu. The other 2, they do indeed. And in this case, I'm giving the point to Dall-E because in this image we see this dreadlock hairstyle, and this image looks closer to what I have in mind what a sadhu looks like. If we pay attention to the images that we see on the right hand side, these are images of sadhus, and this one, for example, has the dreadlock hairstyle, this one as well, and if we go down we will see more hairstyles similar to the one Dall-E generated in here. Now I had to try landscapes. These are the 3 images that I got after entering this prompt. Photorealistic landscape featuring mountains in a misty early dawn during spring. I feel drawn to the 2 images on the right, so the middle one and the right one, but if I take the keywords into consideration, photorealistic, I feel like these 2 look more photorealistic. There is something off about this photo. I feel like the mountains on top or the gradient looks kind of off. Now, if I take a look at the photorealistic aspect of these 2 images, I have to give the point to Dall-E. Let me show you why. When I go closer to Dall-E's image, it looks like a real image, to be honest. But when I look at Imagen's photo, the trees look kind of weird. They honestly don't look real. That's why I gave the point to Dall-E on this one. Now let's take a look at animals. We have a realistic chameleon sitting on a branch, highly detailed. In this case, Dall-E created a beautiful chameleon, but this one doesn't look realistic. The 2 realistic images, we have them on the sides, so text-to-image and Imagen. If I were to choose in between this image and this one, I need to go closer because one of the keywords is highly detailed, and I believe Imagen created a very detailed chameleon. And when I look at the one created by text-to-image, I mean, it looks good, but we are losing details on the skin. So the point goes to Imagen. Let me know in the comments how many points each app has now. Now let's take a look at food. I had to create a delicious looking steaming hot ramen. In these 3 images, the only one that has the steam is the one in the middle created by Dall-E, but to be honest, it doesn't look like ramen. It looks very mushy and doesn't look good at all. The 2 options that we have on the sides look realistic, I would say, but the one with less weird looking things is text-to-image. If we take a look at this seaweed sheet, it looks very weird. It looks like ramen in here, and of course the weird letters also make this image look not realistic at all, and these elements in here, I don't know what Imagen was trying to generate in here. A piece of pork, I suppose. So I believe giving the point to text-to-image is very fair in this test. Next topic is flowers, and this is the prompt that I used for these generations. I believe in here, the image that gets the point is very easy to identify. I don't know, let me know in the comments if you were to choose from image number 1 or image number 3. I'm not going to take into consideration image 2 because this is an extreme close-up and we don't even see the flower. Image number 3, I believe the water drops are very big, so it doesn't look realistic, and the color of the flower is very weird. It's not a real red. So text to image gets the point this time. Now let's see what these platforms can do with architecture. This is the prompt. I wanted to try to generate an Art Nouveau building, and I wrote 5-story because I wanted to see how precise these generators could be. First, I'm going to count the stories, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you were to count from this level, so indeed we have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In here I don't know how many stores this is, but 1, 2, 3 could be 4. This one is not well defined, so it's difficult to say. And in here, if we count from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's like in one floor. But if we were to count these windows here, then we will have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the 2 images on the sides are winning. But let me show you something. When I go to Google Images and I search for Art Nouveau building, these are the buildings that we see in here. I actually was expecting to see something funky like these kind of buildings. So this style, I believe, is missing on these buildings, but at the same time I do see a couple of buildings that do not have many of these organic shapes that I was expecting. So it's difficult to say because I'm not an architect and I don't know much about these styles. I was expecting something very particular in this case, but to choose the winner I have to rely on the details. If we take a look at the image from Imagen, let me go closer. The stairs look very weird. They don't look logic. So in here we clearly see that this image is AI generated. This place here in the building, it's very off. And the electric wiring in here, it looks off as well. The first image also has some issues on this side and some other small ones on the windows, but they do not stand out as much as this weird staircase. So text to image gets the point. Now let's see the interior design topic. I gave a very simple prompt this time, Bohemian beige living room. I think if you look at these pictures really quick, you may believe that these are real, or at least in my case it will be. But if I were to look at these images a little bit longer, just a couple of seconds more, I can see that the middle one is not real because it kind of looks like an oil painting. Look at the flowers and look at the details on the sofa. So Dall-E's generation is discarded automatically. The image on the left and the image on the right are the ones that look closer to reality, kind of, but I feel the one on the left looks a little bit more realistic, and it is because it has less defects or less issues on the image. When I look at the Imagen photo, I see that the shape on this puff looks weird, it's not a correct shape, and also the texture is a little bit not right. Let me go closer so you can see what I'm going to discuss now. The blending here also has issues, this one in here as well, this cushion as well, and this, I don't know if they were trying to generate a lamp or a mirror or I don't know. There is a huge issue in here. If we take a look at this picture, I believe there are less issues. The tree doesn't have a base, but it can be hidden in the shadow. And then there is definition lacking on these elements. The table also, I would say that it is missing a leg, but these are details that you really need to look at the picture in order to find them. So text-to-image gets the point. I know that many of you are trying to use these image generators to create icons, so I put them to the test creating a pencil flat icon. These are the images that I got, and I have to give the point to Dall-E because the shadow on text-to-image is a little bit weird, and also the point of this pencil doesn't look right, and it is not a flat icon. We have some shadows in here going on. And then Imagen generation, we have 3 pencils. Even though I believe I only asked for 1 pencil, I didn't say 1 but just pencil flat icon. The shape of these pencils, I think it's very minimalistic. If you were to look at this image in a different context, it could be difficult to tell that these are pencils. So Dall-E, here's your point. Another use that many people are giving to AI generators are creating logos. So let's take a look. I gave a simple prompt as well. So I asked for a logo for a yoga studio, and these are the results. I think this is one of the worst results ever. So these platforms are not ready to create logos yet. I think the worst, it was Imagen. Obviously, it's not even a logo, and the person looks very, very disturbing. And now to choose a winner in between these two, I believe is matter of personal taste, and I'm going for text-to-image because if I were to remove the text in here and add my own text, it will be easier, and also this logo looks a little bit more clean and easy to use. So text-to-image gets the point this time. I also saw that many of these image generators are very strong on anime drawings, so I had to put them to the test as well. I tried to generate a Latin woman in Japan anime drawing style. The one in the middle, Dall-E, I have to say it's the worst one. The other two are fine. I believe these are okay, but the Imagen anime doesn't have anything in the background, and I asked to have this woman in Japan. So I have to give the point to text-to-image, and in this case we don't see Japan, but at least we have something going on in the background. So that's why I'm giving the point to text-to-image. Let me know, what do you think about me selecting text-to-image as a winner? Would you choose the same, or would you choose Imagen in this case? Here's another anime image that I put to the test. I wanted to create an Akita dog jumping in anime style, and I'm not really happy with these results. These two I wouldn't say are quite manga, maybe the one in the middle, but the face is very weird, and we don't have the dog complete in these two images. So even though this one has slightly weird face, I have to give the point to text-to-image. Now, watercolor. I know that many of you are huge fans of watercolors, so let's see what they were able to create in this case. I asked for a watercolor painting of a dolphin underwater. These 3 results are pretty strong, so I believe my decision is coming from personal taste. I don't know if all of these options are actually possible with just watercolor. In here I can see a slightly 3D effect because we have the background very blurry. So yeah, I don't know if that is possible with watercolor, but I'm not going to give the point to text-to-image because the background looks very blurry. So now I have to work with these two, and the 2 of them are great, but I'm giving the point to Dall-E just because we have the full face of the dolphin on this image, and in this one it is lacking this piece. So Dall-E gets the point. I've seen a lot of people creating oil painting images in these platforms, so this is what I created. Here's the prompt. We wanted to have a red-haired woman. In the 3 images we see this, and we asked for butterflies around. So in the 3 images we see butterflies, but Imagen has actually butterflies around. In this case, I believe text-to-image had the most beautiful creation, but this is subjective as well because we are talking about beauty. I also really like the one that Imagen was able to create because we have the oil painting texture in the image, which is missing on image number 1. Image number 2, I'm not going to consider it because if we compare the 3 images, this one is not as beautiful as the others. So in this case, for me, it was very difficult to choose the winner, so I gave the point to text-to-image and to Imagen. I also wanted to see how creative these generators could get, and that's why I gave them this prompt. Pops Realism, unicorn in fantasy mushroom world. I was expecting to see something very crazy, and this is what we got. It was also difficult for me to choose a winner in here because it can get very subjective which one you like, which one you are going to choose, but I have to pay attention to the keywords that I provided. So fantasy mushroom world. Here we see some mushrooms, but I don't see it as a mushroom or fantasy world, so I'm not going to take Dall-E into consideration. If we take a look at the 2 remaining images, we see that the unicorns are indeed in a magical mushroom world. We see the mushrooms in here, and also we see the unicorn. In this case, I'm going to pay attention to the unicorn details. This one looks good, but there is something weird in here, and also there is a section of the unicorn missing here. If we take a look at this unicorn, we have actually 2 horns instead of just 1, and then the legs have some issues in here. So the point goes to text-to-image just because the unicorn has 1 horn. And here I wanted to try to generate a surreal object. So I gave this prompt to the generators. Armchair in the shape of a strawberry. I like these 3 creations. I found them very creative, but the third one, Imagen's creation, it has to be discarded because we have a strawberry and then a chair next to it. This one doesn't have a strawberry shape. I have to work with these 2, and then because beauty is subjective, I need to look at the details. If I look at this one and I look at the top of the chair, I can see that the texture looks like ceramic. It doesn't really look like a real chair. In some sections looks kind of like a drawing, and if I take a look at the text-to-image creation, it is not looking 100% real, but it has a more realistic texture on this area. So text-to-image gets the point. And now this is the last prompt. I wanted to generate a coloring book image because I know that many people are using these generators to create coloring books, and this is what we got. I believe these are not the best results. I wouldn't put these images on a coloring book that I'm selling. Maybe if I'm providing these images to a kid, you know, like playing around, but not as a commercial book, I believe these are okay. If I were to choose one image as a coloring book image, I had to choose text-to-image just because the shape of the animal and the motorcycle looks more defined. These 2 are not looking like a coloring book image. Now, after seeing all of these images and rating them, we have a conclusion. We saw 21 prompts, and let's see the points that each of these generators got. Text-to-image, the AI generator from Canva, got 11 points, followed by Dall-E, the AI generator from the creators of ChatGPT, with 7 points. And lastly, Imagen from Google with 3 points. So we have a clear winner here. Do you think this battle was fair? If you have questions about copyright, usage, and more, I do recommend you check this article out. And if you have further legal questions, please reach out directly to Canva. Now, to learn how to write text prompts like a pro, you need to watch this tutorial right here. And if you want to get new Canva templates every week, you need to follow my Canva profile. I'm gonna leave the link in here. And I think this is it for this video. I really hope that you enjoy it and hope to see you in the next one. Bye!